Hello there, rejects. I'm Greg Alba.
I'm John Humphrey.
We're gonna watch the second trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Don't spoil the endgame is what Tarantino was saying.
Tarantino demands your silence.
Did you see that? It's becoming a trend now. All these directors trying to get people not to spoil their original content. Ridiculous. I'm gonna make a petition to ask them to stop doing that.
I'm gonna make a petition to have every movie spoiled before it comes out.
Yeah, geez. Hey guys, I want to thank everyone who has been following us over at our Patreon page. Really am grateful. Especially all through Game of Thrones. We've got a lot more followers over there. Over there we do weekly Q&As as well as TV show reaction stream-alongs. This is me trying to do my sincere voice. For shows like Attack on Titan latest season, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia, John did all of Haunting of Hill House, Cobra Kai Season 2. I'm going to continue Gotham this week, and Supernatural. And several of those shows have reaction highlights included. Those are Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, One Punch Man, and Supernatural. I know, yeah, the stream-alongs for Game of Thrones are on there. And John does music video coverage weekly. Go ahead. On over to our, the sentence, Patreon, blah, 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 blah. Let's watch this.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin.
Oh!
That's your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Hey, we watched a Rick Dalton double feature. All the shooting.
Yeah.
I love that stuff, with the killing.
A lot of killing.
Everybody order fried sauerkraut!
Jeez.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Leonardo?
No, I'm stuntman.
Woo!
Well, you still direct, huh? Still here. You can do
Anything you want to him.
I hired you to be an actor, Rick. Not a TV cowboy. You're better than that.
Timothy Oliphant?
line.
Oh.
Embarrass yourself like that in front of all those goddamn people.
All right, what's the matter, partner? It's official, old buddy. Well, it has been.
Aw.
Flat on my ass. Who I got living next door to me?
I'm Sharon Tate. I'm in the movie.
You're in this?
That's me. I play Miss Carlson, the klutz. Charlie's gonna dig you.
Like uncomfortable?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Perry.
In this town, that can all change like that. Hey! You're Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
Bunch of feelings.
Oh yeah.
When you're having all that fun, you're like, oh yeah, the Manson stuff. I weirdly forgot about that part.
Yeah, there's like all this Hollywood nostalgia, and yeah, it's even fun to watch Rick Dalton struggle with his career, but then you realize, like, oh, this is probably gonna this is gonna at least
dark.
flirt with, very serious darkness.
I'm liking the approach a lot because it feels like a biopic about Rick Dalton.
Yeah, it does.
Made up character, but it feels like we're watching the end of his career, the life of it, and that's going to really be focusing on primarily the relationship between him and Brad Pitt, the stunt double character.
Oh, I love that crack about, like, is this your son? Like, cueing, like, what may be the tension between the two of them, and
I'm so dude, you got Pacino and Kurt Russell in the same movie with DiCaprio. Tarantino and Brad Pitt. Like, come on, man. Yeah, gosh, that is so cool.
And you gotta bet that there are gonna be a whole bunch of other Tarantino regulars in here and stuff like that.
Margot Robbie looks great.
Yeah,
she looks like she's gonna give a hell of a performance here. Rest in peace, Luke Perry. Man, it's cool that he gets to be in a Tarantino movie.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he's passed and doesn't get to live through this experience. But man, what a way to keep going. Timothy Oliphant, who's become like a favorite of mine.
I love Timothy Oliphant. Yeah, he's a terrific actor.
I'm really bummed that Santa Clarita Diet got canceled. Listen to his podcast episode he did with Conan O'Brien, which is one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's a good episode.
Yeah, you're gonna be having other actors show up in here. I know Tim Roth is supposed to appear, James Marsden even. Looks like with Brad Pitt's character that he's dating a girl who's a part of the Manson family.
I can see that.
It seems like a lot of the actual Manson family stuff will come in the form of Brad Pitt's character being thrown into this world. You got Rick Dalton, who's the neighbor of when the murder takes place.
Yeah.
And watching like the tonal shift of the trailer, I get this impression that it was kind of giving me the vibe of what Tarantino himself has commented on about the changing time in Hollywood. Like it takes from 1969, a very specific type of film era that we're looking at, and then you're watching a very pivotal point in history happen within Hollywood and going into a much darker path.
And I mean, you're also paralleling that with, where Rick Dalton's at in general, with his career and stuff like that, the passing of an era, stuff like that,
Yeah, it's it looks like it's going to be pure Tarantino film, where it's a mixture of a lot of fun and then also some really dark stuff. And one thing the trailers don't give you, but Tarantino excels at, and I get that vibe just from loving all his films, there's going to be some real tense scenes. Like all that stuff on the Manson family farm, that looks like it's going to be a very tense moment.
Well, and I gotta imagine that's the kind of stuff that just because we know the context will pick up a lot of probably extra tension and extra dimension because of that,
Yeah.
Because you can play in a lot of really subtle ways with what we already know as an audience in this scenario anyway, because this is an infamous story that he's at least borrowing from for the backdrop.
Yeah, just I'm kind of curious what the overall focus of it will be. It's like they're really pitching us on the whole Rick Dalton storyline, and then this Manson family stuff will eventually happen in the movie. They're exploring so much. Is it just like checking in with him on like a lot of different sets of Rick Dalton going on to this movie, or Brad Pitt's character Cliff going on to another set? Because there's so many scenes and locations. It's like more than what I'm used to with a Tarantino film.
Oh yeah, well, and I'm sure that at least some of these scenes and locations will be on backlots or whatever, and part of movies they're shooting. And one thing I got excited about that I just forgot to anticipate about this movie, and it makes the most sense because it's about Hollywood, is I gotta imagine we'll probably get to see Tarantino have a lot of fun jumping through different film styles with the different movies that they're making. I mean, there's that one shot in this trailer from the Nazi film.
Yeah.
And those moments especially seem like they'll be good moments for Tarantino to stretch his legs and have fun, in a more appropriate, like I like his historical sort of fiction approach that he's been taking with his more recent films. I feel like this can, like, because, like Inglourious Bastards has its interludes and stuff like that. But I feel like this movie could really well justify and probably have fun with some of those film style interludes,
Yeah, I also like that we're really getting to see Sharon Tate as a character on her own. Like this seems like we're going to be getting scenes where it's just Margot Robbie's scene. She's just by herself.
Yeah.
So this really feels like an ensemble piece to me so far.
Yeah, and it really makes me curious as to how the movie is going to play out, because, they've said it's not about the Manson murders, but it's certainly a prominent aspect of the time and place this movie
this trailer especially is showing you that, no, this is playing a very important part in this movie.
Yeah, and it just makes me curious now as to what they may be or may not be hiding, because most of the Manson shots of him himself in this trailer come from roughly the same scene. Same with, like, Bruce Lee. So, I'm wondering maybe if they're going to perhaps involve his followers or the girls more, like you brought up, like maybe Brad Pitt's dating somebody, and that kind of brings them close to the compound in a way personally, other than, Leo living next door to Sharon Tate.
The thing I'm just most excited for is the dynamics between DiCaprio and Brad Pitt.
Totally.
I'm excited to see Pacino in this because, he's working with De Niro and Jackie Brown and now Pacino here. I like how we got essentially got Brad Pitt and DiCaprio back to do the accents they did in their previous films with Tarantino. Yeah. But I love their unusual actor stuntman relationship, you know, because I found it interesting when Keanu Reeves was getting interviewed recently for John Wick on Stephen Colbert. He really praised his stunt double, and you rarely hear an actor who does action do that. So it was cool to see that. So having this element here where they seem unusually close for their dynamic, that seems like a lot of fun. It just seems like a total blast. All right, guys. Well, are you excited for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Are you slightly worried about how it's going to be handled, or do you just have that much faith in the Tarantino? Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. If you like this video, please hit the like button and follow us on Patreon.